You're going to love this story. Used cars that are under recall status are being sold without their safety flaws or deadly defects being corrected. Joining me to talk about this is executive editor for Trial Lawyer Magazine's Farron Cousin. Farron Cousin, let me ask you this. You cover all these stories. You see every odd iteration of corporate America trying to pull off the scam. This is a big scam.
It really is. You know, CarMax, the company doing this, one of the largest auto resellers in the United States, and a recent survey found out that as many as 25% of their vehicles are being sold with existing active recalls on the vehicles. And some of these, you know, we've known this for a long time. A lot of recalls might be minor, but we do have very major life-threatening recalls out there in this country right now. We have the ignition switch recall, Takata airbags, where the airbag is essentially exploding and shooting shrapnel instead of protecting somebody in the event of an accident. CarMax knows that these defects are there, knows that they don't even have to pay to fix them.
Yeah.
But they don't want to take the time, because anytime that car is not sitting on the lot, getting a recall fixed, they can't sell it that day, and it costs them money, I guess, in the long run.
So, of course, it's sold as is.
Right.
An explosion with the airbag, shrapnel in your head, that's your responsibility. You bought the car. But truthfully, this is going to end up in some serious lawsuits.
It absolutely is. Eric Schneiderman in New York City has already taken on similar cases with auto dealers knowingly selling a vehicle that has an active recall, insisting the vehicle is safe, because that's the thing. It's not just that they're selling it with the recall, it's that they know there's a recall, they're not telling the consumer about it, the consumer's not going back and checking, because you assume this dealership has done the due diligence, because they know. When they get a new car in, they run the VIN, they know what's out there.
Yeah, it's one thing to sell a car that maybe has defective paint, maybe a defective windshield wiper, but when you're selling a car where you have a defect that can cause death, that's a little different. The standards are raised a little bit, which surprises me. Shouldn't the FTC step in and do something here?
If the government functioned like it was supposed to function in the United States, it absolutely would. But we know for a fact that regulatory agencies, everything from the FTC to the EPA to the FDA, for decades have been captured by industry. They're not going to step in and regulate their buddies. They're going to do what they have to make sure that their buddies are taken care of, that their bottom lines aren't effective. So we change the rules. We don't enforce certain rules. And that's why we end up in situations like this, where a massive corporation can get away with just selling you a vehicle that may or may not kill you. They know it, but they won't tell you.
I mean, I think the case is going to turn on this. The case is going to say, look, we sold this as is. But to sell as is with a hidden safety issue, a hidden danger that can result in your death. Maybe the car burns up. Maybe an electrical fire takes place. Maybe that shrapnel problem that they're having with the Takata airbags becomes an issue. So this, for a used car dealer to say, we're on good ground, I'm not worried about this, buddy, you better take a reality check. I would say, I'm calling this. You're going to see some cases come out of this where somebody's killed because of one of these latent defects, where there's been a recall. There's going to be a big problem there. Someone watching this program, what should they know about CarMax before they go buying a car there?
Well, first and foremost, anytime you go to buy a vehicle, do not, I don't want to say don't trust the dealership, but you got to do your own research. Get the VIN number. They're all available online. The NHTSA government website. Look for recalls, look for defects,
Gotcha.
Get the VIN, and do your research.
Thank you, Farron.